This is the plaintiff, Jeffrey Aker. He says he and his wife purchased an RV from the defendant, and the guy lied to them and told them it was in excellent condition. What a liar. You couldn't fill it with gas because one of the pipes wasn't hooked up. You couldn't get it to go faster than 35 miles an hour, and he was hoodwinked. He's suing for $1,969.76, the amount he paid plus the cost of a rental car. This is the defendant, Jim Erickson. He says the plaintiff's lying because he told him the RV needed mechanical work. From the beginning, he's tried to do the right thing with the plaintiff. He isn't afraid to stand up to him in court today before the judge and looks forward to his day in court. He's accused of selling a lemon.
All parties, please use your right hand.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff bought an RV from the defendant, and it was a mess. It wouldn't go faster than 35, but the defendant says he told the plaintiff what was up with the RV. It's the case of you slowed my roll.
Thank you, Douglas. Jeffrey Aker?
Yes.
You are suing Jim Erickson for $1,969.76 in damages because, according to you, he sold you an RV that was a lemon. Tell me what happened.
We were looking for a unique recreational vehicle because we live in Florida and all our family's up in Indiana. So we take multiple trips up to see our parents and stuff, and we wanted something comfortable.
Who's we?
Me and my wife.
Okay.
We searched Craigslist for months, and we thought we found what we were looking for, a 1984 RV with 53,000 miles in good mechanical condition. So we called Mr. Erickson and asked him about the condition. Would it be able to travel from Columbus, Ohio to Tampa, Florida? And he said, well, the only thing that's barring it is the rear tires. So I said, well, okay, let's strike a deal. You're up there, it's up there. We'll send you a deposit for the camper. Go put tires on it, because I'm going to have tires on it anyways, to make the trip down and have it ready for the drive down. So we flew up there, and when I got into the RV, it was cold. It was 40, and we were from Florida, February 5th. First thing we noticed was the blower fan didn't work, so we had no heat in the RV. And we left there, and we go to get on the ramp to get on 270 around Columbus. And as we're climbing the ramp, I was losing power. It was like, blah, when I give it so much gas. And as I'm trying to give it gas, it dies. No place to pull over. I'm turning the starter, I'm pumping it, finally get to go a little bit. I finally find a spot I can sit. I called him and I said, yeah, it's running terribly. I can't get over 35 miles an hour. He says, well, take it to a mechanic. So at that point in time, I said, I'm going to bring it back. So I drive it back. I told him, Jim, this isn't what I expected. It said it was mechanically sound. It's not running right. I don't want it. And he gave me the $400 that I'd given him. Yeah.
Now, the purchase price of the RV was what?
$1,100 plus $800 allowance for the tires, with total price of $1,900 out the door.
Got it. So now you had sent a deposit of how much?
$1,500.
So you came and then paid the additional $400
in cash.
Okay. So he gives you back the $400 and he tells you, I'm going to pay you the remaining $1,500 when?
When he sold it, and he shook my hand.
Okay. Why are you, without having test-driven anything, sending up money for tires on this thing?
Because that was the only thing he said it would need to get me back to Tampa.
Yeah, but what are you for? I mean, come on, you bought cars before in your life. Like, why would you spend money to improve an item that you haven't even test-driven yet?
I wanted it.
Yeah, no, you wanted it. You're like a little boy. But, so how much, now what? Now there's $900 in tires he didn't want on it. And what am I going to do with you, sir? I need your eye contact.
Yes, ma'am.
Leave the papers alone. Look at me and talk to me face to face. You end up accepting the item back, giving him part of his money back, saying that you will give the rest, right? And then not doing it.
No.
Okay.
He comes back. He says, I don't want it. Would you please give me the $400 in cash that we exchanged that morning? Would you please give me that back? Because I need that to get back to Florida. And so I gave that back to him. I didn't want to keep the camper. I didn't want it. I'm trying to sell it. And now it's got
Right, but did you tell him when I sell it, I'll pay you back?
Yes, ma'am.
And have you sold it?
No.
But you're trying to sell it.
It has his tires on it, ma'am.
Right. But,
So I feel obligated not to sell it with his tires on it. And then I have to contact an attorney. What do I do?
And what did the attorney tell you out of curiosity?
To tell him to bring back the $400
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
and take his camper.
Okay, the plaintiff spent $1,100 in this RV. Do you have a right to expect that it's going to work properly?
No, but it is also kind of the seller's fault for not warning the buyer.
Yeah, but is it warning enough that it's $1,100?
Well, I think it depends on where you're getting the RV from also. Like
Well,
if you're
really, where could you get an RV from where you could think that $1,100 is going to get you a good RV?
that's not even, you're not going to get it for $1,100. You're not going to get a good RV.
That's my question, going inside the courtroom.
Here's the thing, though. When he came to your house, if you had said, take your camper off my property, tough for you, buyer beware. This is an as-is sale, as all used vehicles are.
Yes, ma'am.
If you had done all that, this would be one thing. And I would tell him, go get your camper off his property. But when you say, all right, when I sell it, I'll give you the money, here's your $400, that is something he relies on when he decides to go back to Florida. If you tell him, I'm not taking it, if you're leaving it here, I'm calling the police to get your property off here. I mean, that's not your nature, I understand. You didn't want to be confrontational or whatever else, but that's kind of where it is. But then what do I do with this ridiculous tire thing? Because your tires are on it. Why is that on him? Your tires. And what was the discussion at that moment? When you give him the $400, what do you say you're going to do? When I sell it, I'll give you $1,500?
He's the one that canceled the deal, not me. He's like, got his daughter there. I need the $400 to get back. I don't want the camper, and I'm just trying to be nice. I didn't really want to make a new agreement like you were
I know.
suggesting.
And I hate to penalize you for being a gentleman, but if you do say to the guy, all right, when I sell it, I'll pay you back the rest of the money. I mean, I'm not sure how to solve this because, to be honest with you, this is a bit of a pickle in terms of the tire thing at a minimum. And the tire thing is a lot of money.
Well, he had put it back on Craigslist for $2,800.
Yeah, how'd that go? Yeah.
I don't know.
Right, not very well, 'cause
I
he hasn't sold
texted him when he took it down in July and asked him if he'd sold it with no response.
Why did you take it down in July?
Again, it has his tires on it.
Yeah, no, but you put it up with his tires on it. So why did you take it down?
I'm not sure that I put it back on Craigslist for $2,800.
Did you put it back on Craigslist at all?
No.
Then you didn't make any effort to sell it. How did you make an effort to sell it?
I did not make an effort to sell it.
Why not?
I can't.
What are you doing with it?
It's sitting in my yard.
Well, are you married?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have a wife living in the house?
Yes, ma'am.
Did she give you a little bit of grief about that stupid thing sitting in the yard?
Yes.
Okay, so why don't you work your way out of this paper bag and solve your problem and try to sell it? Why isn't it on Craigslist to try to sell it?
I'm going home and sell it now.
Were you just worried because the guy's tires are on it and you weren't
Yes,
sure
ma'am.
what the legality
He's
was?
constantly texting me, and the last text is, I'm going to see you in court. So thank goodness I didn't sell it.
No.
I would have
No.
been out the tires and owing back his
Well,
money.
I don't know. If you'd sold it for $1,800 or whatever the amount is that's in it at this point, no, you would be out nothing. You would be exactly where you would have been if he hadn't brought it back.
Ma'am, before we did the tire transaction, there was 3 tires that was aired up. There was one that was blown out.
Where are those now?
Firestone took them and discarded of them.
So what are you going to do without tires now?
That's one of the little problems of the
I got an
little
idea.
scenario.
I got an idea. What were these tires? $868. What if we split it right down the middle? We arrive at a settlement right now. You two never have to look at each other again. How's that? Then you've got the new tires on there, right? You don't have to worry about dealing with. Let's do that. All right, so here's what's going to happen. The $631.50, which is the remainder on the actual item, and we're going to call it a learning experience and add to that half of the tires, for a total judgment in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of $1,065.72, and we're going to call it a day.
Acceptable, thank you.
Don't buy stuff sight unseen.
Thank you.
You know? Take care, folks.
Well, the judges worked out a compromise, and the plaintiff will get a little over $1,000. Mr. Erickson, the defendant's just come out of the courtroom. Are you okay with this?
Yes.
You are?
Yes.
Going to wash your hands of it, then, although you're still got the vehicle.
Yes.
It's still, but now you can sell it.
Now I can sell it.
And they'll make it,
and
they'll make
that'll
it fine.
That'll
help you.
That'll help make,
Okay, very
make things
interesting.
right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. You must sign some documents. Mr. Aker, I cannot believe you didn't test drive that car before you, or that, the camper before you bought it. I just can't believe it. Why did you?
I live in Tampa, and it was in Columbus.
Yeah, but you went and gave him the $400 in cash, right?
It was supposed to have been road ready,
Well-
or I wouldn't have flown up there to get it, to drive it home.
Have you learned something from this?
Don't do what my parents do.
Unreal. Anyway, listen, thank you very, very much. Okay, thank you very much. Nice chatting with you.
Thank you.
Harvey?
Okay, so here's the thing. You should never, ever, 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 ever buy a vehicle without having it inspected. And even if you have to front the money, make a deal so that if you end up buying it, the seller either splits the inspection costs or pays for the whole thing outright.